Ubuntu versus Debian. Which Linux distro should you choose? If you have spent any time around Linux, you almost certainly heard of both Ubuntu and Debian. They are two of the most popular and respected distributions out there, and they are closely related. Ubuntu is actually based on Debian, but that doesn't mean they are the same thing. Think of Debian as the rock solid foundation, and Ubuntu as the polished, more accessible house built on top of it. In this video, we will break down the key differences so you can decide which one fits your needs better. Whether you are a complete beginner, a developer, a server admin, or just someone looking for a reliable daily driver. First, let's start with a quick look at their backgrounds. Debian has been around since 1993. It's a community driven project run entirely by volunteers. The focus has always been on free software principles, extreme stability, and thorough testing. Debian doesn't rush anything. A new stable release comes out roughly every 2 or 3 years, only when the team decides it's truly ready. Ubuntu, launched in 2004, created by Mark Shuttleworth and the company Canonical. It was designed to make Linux more approachable for everyday users, while still keeping the reliability of its Debian roots. Ubuntu takes packages from Debian's development branches, adds its own improvements, hardware support, and polish, then releases on a predictable schedule. So, yes, Ubuntu stands on Debian's shoulders. Many packages start life in Debian and later appear in Ubuntu. But Ubuntu has developed its own identity over the years with different defaults, extra tools, and a more commercial support model. Now, let's talk about the release cycle and support. This is one of the biggest practical differences. Debian follows a release when ready model. The current stable version, which is Debian 13 Trexie, as of 2025-2026, gets full security support for about 3 years, plus additional extended support through the Debian's LTS team. Packages are frozen at the release time. You mainly get security fixes and critical bug fixes, not constant new features or major version upgrades of a software. Ubuntu runs on a fixed calendar. A new version comes out every 6 months. Every 2 years, the April release becomes a long-term support, which is LTS version. Standard LTS support lasts 5 years, and with Ubuntu Pro, you can extend that much further, up to 10 to 12 years in some cases. Ubuntu also offers hardware enablement, which is HWE kernels. So newer hardware keeps working well over the life of an LTS release. Bottom line, if you want maximum predictability and minimal change for years, Debian Stable is excellent. If you want regular updates, newer software, and longer commercial support options, Ubuntu LTS is usually the better fit. Now, about the ease of use and installation. Ubuntu is generally more beginner friendly. The installer is guided and straightforward. It sets up a regular user with sudo privileges by default. The desktop, which is customized GNOME, feels polished out of the box. Hardware detection is strong on modern machines, and proprietary drivers or multimedia codecs are easier to enable. Debian's installer asks more questions and gives you more control. By default, it doesn't automatically give your user full sudo rights the same way Ubuntu does. You often set a root password and use SU. You'll choose your desktop environment during installation. For example, GNOME, KDE Plasma, XFCE, and others are available. It's more flexible, but it can feel less hand holding for someone new to Linux. Both use the same excellent package tools, apt and dpkg. So once you are past installation, the command line experience is very similar. Now, about the software and package management. Both rely on apt. The repositories are huge. Where they differ is Ubuntu includes Snap by default and integrates it into the software center. This gives access to many newer or sandboxed applications easily. Some people love Snap, others prefers to avoid it. Now, Debian does not ship Snap or Flatpak by default. You can install them if you want, but the system stays leaner and more traditional. Debian's focus is free software, so proprietary packages are more restricted unless you enable non-free repositories. Ubuntu also has personal package archives, which is PPAs, which makes it simple to get newer versions of specific software. Debian has backports for some newer packages, but the philosophy stays more conservative. Now, about the stability, performance, and hardware. Debian Stable has a legendary reputation for reliability. Once installed and configured, it just works for years with very few surprises. It's often preferred for servers, long running systems, and situations where set it and forget it is the goal. Minimal installs can also be lighter on resources. Ubuntu is also very stable, especially the LTS releases, but it ships newer kernels and software by default. That means better support for recent hardware, for example, Wi Fi, graphics, laptops, etc., and features at the small cost of occasional introducing more change. For desktops, gaming, or development machines that benefit from current tools, Ubuntu frequently wins. Debian still supports more architectures, including older 32-bit in some cases, and can feel more at home on aging hardware or specialized systems. Now, about the community, support, and philosophy. Debian is pure community and free software focused. Decisions are made by developers and the project's democratic processes. There is no single company in charge. Ubuntu has a large, active community plus commercial backing from Canonical. You get official documentation, paid support options, strong cloud and enterprise presence, and a bigger pool of beginner oriented tutorials online. Many cloud providers make Ubuntu images the default choice. So now, which one should you pick? There is no universal winner. It depends on your priorities. Choose Debian if you want maximum long-term stability with minimal drift and a pure community-driven free software experience. And for servers, home labs, NAS boxes, or system you don't want to touch often. And for lighter default footprint and more control over what gets installed. Choose Ubuntu if you want easier onboarding and better out of the box hardware support, and newer software and kernels more regularly. And if you want strong desktop experience or gaming, and for cloud deployments, commercial support options, or the largest amount of online help. and a system that stays current without you having to dig into testing or unstable branches. Many people actually use both Debian on servers and critical machines, Ubuntu or an Ubuntu based distros like Linux Mint on their daily desktops. Now, the final thoughts. Debian and Ubuntu share deep roots and the same solid package system. The real difference is philosophy and pace. Debian prioritizes careful, rock solid releases. Ubuntu prioritizes usability, predictability of schedule, and staying closer to current hardware and software. Both are excellent, both are free, both will run almost anything you throw at them. The best way to decide is to try them. Download the live images, boot them on a USB stick, and see which one feels right for the way you work. Whichever you pick, you are choosing one of the strongest foundations in the Linux world. Thanks for watching. If this helped, drop a like or comment with which one you are running and why. See you in the next video.